Hello, it is Rhiana and Masa here again on the piano boat. As you can see, we are looking rather festive at the moment, but we are kind of doing this a little bit in backwards order because the next video is going to be more Christmassy, but for logistical reasons, we are doing this one first.
Yes, it was great to have Maya on board for our last episode and chase us around and film what goes on for our regular concert cruises. But that sort of prompted me to get a move on with that old footage that I was sort of trying to get on with and never quite finished. But it's on its way, so we thought to add that little bit all the way back from June.
Yeah, this is the continuation of the first video that you did of our trip up to the River Lea, which was quite an excursion because it involved going through central London, and I think that part of the video more or less concluded in the last one, or that part of the journey. So now we continue on with our travels up towards the river, which was very exciting. Our first time on this boat on a river.
Yes, we didn't quite make it to the destination. What was the name of the cruising club? Lea and Stort.
Yes.
Lea and Stort Cruising Club.
Such a long time ago now.
It is, and we didn't quite make it, but
for reasons that you shall see.
Yes, inevitably things do happen, but we did make it almost up to there. So that's where we are for this video, and we will have the third one going back, but obviously we will sort of compress it.
That'll come later.
Yes,
we're not quite sure when yet, but it will. The third instalment is on its way.
And there's a bumper holiday special coming up with the launch video. We had various artists on board over our launch at the London Canal Museum at the very end of July, well, in fact, 31st of July, Saturday and Sunday, 1st of August. And we thought it's a shame we filmed it, and we just thought it's a shame not to put it onto YouTube. So that will be coming over the holiday period as well, but that won't really be a vlog as such. So if it's not your thing, obviously don't worry about it, but that's awesome.
It was an amazing weekend. We had so many talks and performances from different people that we know, and it was fantastic. There was such a wealth of knowledge and experience that everyone was sharing here in this sort of intimate space. It was a lot of fun and well worth the long journey into central London. So as Masa said, we did film the whole thing, and we've been meaning to do something with it, but we really wanted to share it with you because it was brilliant. So since hopefully now everyone's got a bit more time over the holidays, it's ready to go out. But yes, if you're not so interested in the sort of music oriented talks and things, then don't worry, we'll have our next proper vlog out before too long.
Boaty themed.
But if you are interested in that sort of thing, then do have a watch because it was fantastic.
Yeah. So in the meantime, what is it today? Well, we're very nearly Christmas.
Yep.
Uncertainty prevails, but hopefully you are all managing some form of festivities wherever you are.
Yes. We are looking forward to our next holiday cruise, which is in a few days' time. But in the meantime, have a restful Christmas and holiday, hopefully, fingers crossed, and
a Merry
Christmas. Welcome. We are Rhiana and Masa, classical pianists and owners of the Piano Boat.
Join us as we cruise the English waterways, making music along the way. Yes, the morning cleaning as usual. I know it's outdoors, but it's nice seating. This deck becomes part of the house. I think it's worth it. You might have seen me hoover the roof, which I won't do. But anyway, come on up. It's a lovely view this morning. Victoria Park.
Yeah. We had to start early this morning. We actually couldn't find anywhere to moor, even though we didn't get as far as we had hoped. So we have actually stopped at a lock landing and a water point, so double not good. So we've started early and are going to try and just get away from here after topping up with water so that we're not taking up space.
I was up at like before 6 because I was concerned about early riser boaters who might want to top up water, and we're blocking them. Well, I mean, if you've got a long hose, we've kind of scuttled back as far as we can to the moored boat back there, but technically this isn't really correct.
No.
So,
No.
anyway, must finish this first as you do the hose.
Yep, that was our turn off. Just went straight past it.
Missed the turn. Look how far we've gone.
Gotta go back now. That looks like rather a tight squeeze.
It looks like a lovely part of the
Well,
waterway.
yes, but are we going to get through there?
Oh yes. Just that
You sound very certain.
I didn't even realise that little thing. We would have easily missed it.
Well, we did.
Well, actually, yes, I noticed. Otherwise, we would have ended up at Limehouse and then realised, hang on,
Oops.
there are other ways to get on the River Lea, of course.
Getting there. Nearly there.
Parallel maneuver. Feels like a cruise ship again.
We are now drifting sideways.
Not drifting. This is
Controlled drifting. Yeah. We now join the Hertford Union Canal, which is a short and beautiful stretch of canal that connects the Regent's Canal to the River Lea.
Although I complain far too often about the proximities to the sides of bridges and tunnels. If I think about it, when we did the narrowboat hire, the narrow canals actually posed just as much challenge, particularly when there's oncoming boats to pass by.
Look at this.
Little mini garden. The wildflowers or plants.
It's very pretty. And that is where we came from. This pond seems to be so full that actually the water was coming over the top of the lock gates. So I was just hoping that when it got full, it wouldn't all start pouring over the other side, because there's no weir on this lock, but it seemed to be okay just about. It's right at the top of the gates there. It does say at the lock up there, that one that we just came down, you need to close the gates and the paddles, otherwise you'll flood the pond, which, I mean, it was all closed when we got there, but it seems to be already pretty full.
So this is all it takes. Now we are on radio control.
Remote control boat.
And this is the traditional bit, the boat going down. And of course no one at the helm, because we're both on lock duty. Minor adjustments. Here's the feature. This being at the beginning of June, I have since done many locks going through single-handedly for the concert cruises, and the remote has very much become a part of the procedure, but it does help an awful lot and save a lot of time. We have use of the bow thruster on remote as well.
So many guests are incredibly impressed when they see the boat moving without anybody at the helm. They look very confused for a second, and then their faces light up in awe. Into the river. Joining the river felt like a very grand affair. It is very wide and feels like a totally different world compared with the canals. Just switched over to the wheel. First time ever. How are you finding it?
Like a ferret.
A ferret? Like a gerbil or a hamster on a wheel. Just running and not getting anywhere.
Well, I mean, if I look at the tiller, it's hardly moving. Like a car, you're steering. So,
Oh, hello. We've got a visitor.
Caught another fish. Hello there.
At least the river's nice and wide.
Yes, but now we've got to turn it.
Yes. The idea is that you should be able to sit down whilst you see how slowly the tiller is moving for every turn. You should be able to sit
Hard work.
whilst you do this. I don't think it's supposed to be this dramatic. The river cruising is supposed to be gentle and relaxing.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's whatever the gear. Obviously, You know, it's going to be very heavy for you. But
I don't know. We seem to be being followed.
I think I can do that.
Let's try this. Oh, it's there. Just dived under. Never mind, they got plenty of food. They'll survive. It's still walking.
That's really hard still. Oh yeah,
Looking very chilled out altogether.
What?
No. Stop that. It's so hot that I got quite sunburned yesterday, so I'm trying to keep covered up as long as I can bear it. Our sun cream doesn't seem to be working. Put plenty on, but still got very sunburnt. All to the dulcet tones of Japanese baseball. Huh?
They just got equalized.
Oh, the wrong way. They were winning.
Well, we've got to the first lock, and apparently the gate doesn't shut. We're going to have a look.
River lock ever.
If it's electrically operated, then presumably something went a bit funny. There's a boat stuck.
Could be a bit of a wait.
Well, the boater there said there's a Tesco nearby. He's going to go off to top up some wine.
Perfect.
Hello there. I'm quicker.
Greedy. Oh, what nobody needs today. Oh, sorry.
Here's this massive lock. So what happens?
Couldn't work this out. So many buttons. But I tried opening, but I think it's not quite level yet.
Ah, I see. Only one.
So only one side open.
So how do we always have to nudge in?
So if I keep the button pressed, when you try and come through, then it might kind of jump and get the hydraulic thing.
Okay, let's have a go then. It is steel, so I'd rather not, but I suppose it's the only way to get through here. Nudge gently.
We were stuck at this lock for a good few hours. We didn't know what to do because, being a wide beam, we couldn't just fit through one side, and it seemed the gate had stopped working. The CRT suggested that we just nudge into it, as you heard, so we did. And it turned out that much later on we met the people that were behind us, and they said that the engineer had to come and add something like 40 litres of hydraulic fluid to get the gates working again, I think something had overheated and it had just packed up.
It looks easy enough on the video here, but in fact I tried to protect the side of the boat with fenders and then it went into the water. I had to get the boat hook to fish it out. It was a lengthy procedure until we finally found ourselves, well, the boat in the lock chamber.
Then we were faced with another difficulty. Well, obviously this has been entirely unsuccessful. We managed to get in, but now the gate won't close again. So we phoned CRT, so did the people before us, and so will the people after us. So fingers crossed that something happens soon.
The CRT people had some special keys which allowed them control, which was otherwise not possible. They manually opened the sluice at the top gate and forced the water down, and that pressure actually closed the bottom gate. Then fortunately the top gate did work, even though later on it did need the 40 litres of the hydraulic fluid.
At last we were on our way again. The river is such an eclectic mix of different kinds of boats, and it was fascinating to see. On the canals you see mostly canal boats, but here there's a mix of canal boats, cruisers, and everything else in between.
I did enjoy looking at that sort of floating house that went by a minute ago.
This lock worked without trouble, and we continued on our way.
It was a manual lock, of course, so Rhiana was a bit disappointed.
Although you can't really tell on this video, it was starting to get a little dark, so we thought now is a good time to moor up.
We didn't quite get to our destination intended, but it was enough with everything else that went on.